everyone, and welcome to the And I Thought podcast. And yes, did you see how that just rolled off of my tongue? Because, hey, I got it right. I thought about it before I actually said it. And while we were talking beforehand, I was like, I know which podcast it's going to go on because I have four of those bad boys. So it's always interesting to try to pick and choose. And if you were listening to the writing class before you listened to the And I Thought podcast, you will know that I surely tripped over the last one. It was Writers Ladies Class Tales podcast. That is not a podcast. That is a conglomeration of four of those things. And you're not really here to hear about my conglomeration and how my brain works. Yikes. I don't even want to know how my brain works. I'm Winona, by the way, and I remember to introduce myself, so high five to me, and then the little dance talking about yes. Okay, there we go. I'm done. Because that one looked a little too like I'm going to the gym, and I'm not. And y'all don't need to see my little weak biceps. And I wrote books. Well, it's a we thing because it's normally a Jade, but who cares? And I thought divorce was bad, and I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir in verse, Widow's Web, Widow's Debt, and Foreign Coffee. Those are 7 books. Wherever you can find your audiobooks, that's where they are. And then if you want to know about the rest of our canon, there are 21 more, and you can find those at www.andithoughladies.com. I might have lied to you because we have written 21, but 3 of them are waiting to come out. So, not quite 28. We're at 25. But you can see those at www.andithoughladies.com. And that worked out great because I got to plug myself twice as nice. But you're not here to hear about me because I could plug myself a third time just to make sure. You're here to hear about our wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, hello. This is your authors, Rebecca Wells Phillips, Rachel Blue, and Boo Black, coming to you live from Asheville, North Carolina. I am a multi-genre writer. I am a proud member of the LGBTQ community, and I just recently got divorced.
Yay! Oh, you said that happily, so I'm going to go with yay!
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, I am the narcissist, so I remember when I first got divorced, I literally did leaps through my house and then immediately went out with somebody else until 3 in the morning.
Wow.
I also got engaged like 14 days later. But this is.
Are you still engaged?
No, that's a whole story. I'll tell you that when we're finished. So I'm happy that you're happy, though.
Thank you.
Good. Are we going to read about it when you in your writings?
Probably not. I mean, in a way, you learn about me in my fiction book as far as falling in love with a female. So it's fiction, but it's pieces of me in that. I try to keep my husband out of my writing for the most part. In Hating Self by Boo Black, however, I do talk about my family a lot in a positive manner or parent. So anyway, yeah.
I see that as your memoir, though.
Yes,
So
it
how
is.
was it go? How was it to go from fiction to writing a memoir? Are things similar or different?
They're different. The memoir was supposed to just technically be for family only, and it was just to let people know I grew up in an all white town. This is who I am because of the things I went through there. But then after my mom passed, I decided that because I dealt with depression, suicidal ideation, all that, and even tried, I wanted to share that with the world and let people know that you're not alone and that there is something for you and you have a purpose and the burdens that you have are going to help someone else. So,
I love, okay, first of all, I love it whenever we try to share our memoir with a purpose. Because some
hmm
people write it just to write it because they're like, my life is fascinating. And you're like, that's what social media is for. No.
yeah,
But I love that you try to teach.
yes.
So, like, do you do the same thing with your fiction?
Yes, because people don't understand how I can have been married for 32 years to a man and have fallen in love with a woman and now call myself a lesbian. So in Butterfly Blossoms by Rachel Blue, it is a woman coming from a snake handling Pentecostal church that was taught Adam and Eve, that's the way you do it. And so she realizes that she was in love the whole time with her best friend Tracy. And so it's kind of like in my story, I was taught that you're supposed to be married, have a family, have grandchildren, all that stuff, but you forget about who you are and you go with what society teaches you. And so I finally got away from that. And so, yeah, I teach people that you don't just wake up gay. you have probably been there the whole time, but you've been just kind of hiding it because that's not what's accepted. So,
Huh. Interesting. So my next question is for when you, if you can rewind all the way back to book one out of 13. Uh, what challenges did you have writing your first book? And then secondly, how do you write 12 more?
well, I hate to say that I only have 4 books, but there are other people with my name. There's Rebecca Wells and there's Rebecca Phillips, and they're not me. I only have 4 books. I apologize.
I am so sorry. I got you mixed up with my with the guest right before you.
That's okay.
Oh my
That's okay.
god!
But
I
it's the
told
same.
y'all
It's
it
a
was a
good
rough
question.
day.
It's a good question though, because even 4 books, that's an accomplishment. And I had no intentions of going past book one. And I just felt like my life is not my life. I was put here with a purpose, and I believe that purpose is to help change the world and to help others. And so I went from telling you this is who I am, this is where I came from, to Hurricane Helene, resiliency after the storm, of telling you this is what we went through with Hurricane Helene. These people lost their lives. These people, so it's almost like I'm telling you again a part of my life, but the main focus was interviewing victims and remembering uh, the history of Hurricane Helene, which hit us September 27th of last year.
Okay, it feels like even with your fiction and everything, there is a survival element that I'm like, dude, I need to learn.
Yes,
There is a resiliency in those pages that is
yes,
just hardcore steel right here.
yes.
Um, but how do you go about marketing and putting these books out to the public so they know that they're available?
I am on all the social media platforms, probably about 12 of them. I've also thrown money to the wind and I've advertised, radio. I've done podcast. I'm on Amazon. I went through Ingram Spark, so they're on like I don't know, all these different platforms. It's crazy. I have done everything. I have done everything and anything to get the word out, but there are still people who don't know about my books. And I don't know, honestly. I don't know what else I could have done to let people know. I have a website even.
Yeah, and it's a lovely website.
Thank
I am
you.
currently on it, just making verifying my questions before I ask, because I'm not making another 13 mistake.
I wish. I wish I had 13, but I do have 2 more books planned for 2026, and that's not including part 2 of Hurricane Helene.
I'm
So
asking, I'm asking future you.
yes.
That's what I was doing.
Yes, exactly. 13's a good number. My mama's birthday was on the 13th of November, and so like 13's a lucky number for me. So yeah, 13 will be the books, how many books I one day will have.
Exactly. Oh my god. Ooh, I'm up in here forcing manifestation, Joel.
I like that. Yes, yes.
Oh, so what? Okay, so I have to ask about the journey that you've had and, of like being a writer and then recognizing. I'm assuming about like marketing and business. What kind of journey have you had? What have you learned? Which what have you want to tell other people? Please don't do that.
Right, right. Okay, so first, don't trust everyone. When the people say that they know how to do something, a lot of times they're lying and you know more than they do. When someone says they can do something for free, it's never free. There's always a cost involved. Um, when you trust someone that has a company name and you verify that they are an actual company, they still can screw you over. And I have been scammed multiple times. So I don't want to make people be fearful, but I have been burned. And guard your money and guard your words as much as possible because people will take what you've done and they will steal it from you.
Woo! I feel like there's a story there that needs to be on like that. I feel like it's book nine. Book nine is coming.
Right, right.
Guard your words, people. Guard your words.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Oh
yes,
my goodness. But like this industry teaches you a lot about learning curves and how to do things yourself. What have you learned
yes.
that you thought you would never have to learn?
Well, the whole thing about marketing, I assumed that I would write the book and people would know it's there, but Amazon has millions and millions and millions of authors and other books out there, and it's like you don't exist. I had to Google how to do a marketing plan, so I had to do a 20-page marketing plan for Hurricane Helene because to me that was the most important book I had was to share people's stories from the storm and everything. So I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn, certain words like now that I'm working on this next book called Lift Our Voice, Abuse Survivors Speak Their Truth. I had to learn the difference between a preface versus an introduction, all this stuff because it's another true nonfiction, but it's going to have people's stories of abuse. So I'm constantly Googling, and I know everybody hates AI, but I would hate to have had an encyclopedia when I started writing these books because this is just too much. Every day it's a new word or I'm constantly having to learn something every time I touch the computer.
Oh, yeah. I spent this morning learning how to do a curriculum and a course. I was like,
Yes.
oh, this is so fun. Like, okay, I'm not gonna
Huh?
lie. I did it. I had made the course like 5 years ago, and I did it all by like hand and thought and edit.
Hmm.
And I'm
Hmm.
not gonna lie, AI helped a whole lot this time.
Yes. I don't write with AI, but I question everything. Everything is, I'll Google everything. I mean, I'm just that way.
Exactly. I was like, wait, what are some good questions? And it was like, oh, here. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I don't like that one. That one has the beginning of something. And I mean, I wrote it myself, but like,
Right.
it was a whole lot less thinking than it was 5 years ago. Let me just say that.
Right. And people say they can't write because they don't have good grammar. You don't have to have good grammar. All you have to do is have your words and thoughts and put it on paper or put it in the computer. And there are people who can edit, who can help you with that. Or even if you want to pay for AI, there's Grammarly and it can help you. And so you just need to get what you got in you out there in the world.
Oh my goodness, Grammarly is amazing, and I love it so much because I do
Yes.
not do grammar, and I've been writing since I was 10 years old. At 10, I just handed it off to an editor. It's like I wrote
Right.
something amazing, make it work.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yes.
there needs to be commas, semicolons, ellipses.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not me. I build worlds. You make it read. Um,
Yes.
so, how important was an editor in your journey, and what criteria did you look for when you chose an editor?
In my first three books, my family were my editors. It was me, myself, and I. I have an English degree from Carson Newman and also a broadcast journalism degree, so I trust myself in my editing skills. However, with Hurricane Helene, I was trying to give back to victims of the storm and tell people stories, so I went ahead and I got a publisher, but not a traditional publisher. But and they said they would edit for me, and I thought that they knew more than me. And I was wrong. I learned that people who are not real editors actually think that you should change quotes. Like she felt like because we're from the South and we don't have proper grammar, that I needed to correct was versus were and things like that. And I said, there are quotations. These are actual quotes. You don't change people's quotations. And so that's when I realized I knew more than she did.
You have a broadcast journalism
Mhm.
degree.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't change quotes.
no.
Nope. So what did you do? Okay, how did that work with writing, okay, with your fiction and having your broadcast journalism degree? Because that has to really kind of help tell a
I
story.
mean, I think that to be honest, a lot of my ideas, character names, book titles, all that came from dreams. And so I a lot of times don't even realize what I've written. And when I go back and reread what I just wrote, I'm like, who wrote this? So the journalism really didn't come into play until Hurricane Helene when that pulled me back and I realized this is how you report and things like that. So I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but when they talk about having a muse, I think that's what they mean. And all the ideas come from dreams and the titles and the characters and I I can't even explain it. I can't explain it.
I definitely kind of understand that. I think when I first got started, all my ideas came from dreams, and I just happened to remember a piece of it, and
Yes.
then created the story around it. Definitely.
Yes.
And then someone was like, "You gotta stop relying on your dreams. They're unreliable tellers, unreliable narratives." And I'm like, "Man, they still work. Let it
They
go."
do.
Yeah, they
They
really do.
do.
Okay, so you have a company called Boo Black.
Yes. Pen named Boo Black, and that was with Hating Self because I grew up in an all white town in East Tennessee, and my middle name was the N word. And so I hated myself. So that's why I called it Hating Self. And because I hated being black, that's why it's like Boo, I'm black. So Boo Black.
Thank you for explaining that because I was like, I actually like the name as a company name. Like, what?
Yeah, everybody likes Boo Black.
Um, last question, I swear. You have been on quite a few podcasts.
I think 8 or 9.
Yeah. So first of all, how did you get the podcast interviews? And then secondly, well, there's going to be three. Sorry, I just thought of a third question. Secondly, how were you? How did you get ready for the podcast interviews? And then
Mhm.
last, which was your favorite one to do? And do not say mine because that's a lie. We all know it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I am always on social media. Like I said, I have like 12 different platforms I'm on. So I'm constantly, before I even wake up in the morning, I'm on there. And there are constantly people saying, I have a podcast if you'd like to be a guest. There's also groups like on Facebook and things that say we are podcasters if you'd like to be. And so that's what I did. I started looking at those and I would do research and look at their videos on YouTube and stuff and say, oh, okay, and also alignable.com is similar to LinkedIn, but it's more business related, and you can actually get leads and things like that. And there are people on there that did podcasts, so I just would write emails or text messages or messengers and say, hey, this is my website, I've written this book, can I be on your podcast? And I was always told yes. So that's how that happened. My favorite one was this with this black man, and he, I think he used to also be a DJ. And so I learned of him through Alignable. Again, alignable.com is really super good. And I'm looking at my list of podcasts because, like I said, I've had like 8 or 9 of them. And his was my favorite. But what was it called? Because he's like from New York. He's up in New York, and he's got that vibe. And he's an older gentleman, but he's been doing it for years. It's called Two Mics Up. And so he's very spiritual, believe, Christian. I assume he's a Christian. He knows there's a God. We had very entertaining and meaningful discussion, and he wrote me the kindest recommendation on alignable.com. So we just had a really good time. It was like I was talking to a brother. I don't have a brother, but if I'd had one, he would have been he was amazing. He was amazing.
Those are your most favorite conversations when you just kind of get in and you're chilling and you don't even recognize you're on an
Yes.
interview. You just like, yeah. And then you say things. Be careful about it. Then you be saying things. And you're like, wait.
Yeah, I'm real careful
That's
with
good.
that.
That's good. Let it roll. Let it roll.
Yeah, but he was like family, and he told me I could come back anytime, and he's well known. Like I said, he's an older gentleman that started years ago, and his name is, I've forgotten his name, but if you look up Two Mics Up, he's out of New York originally. So
I want to, first of all, where can people buy your books and listen to you on those podcasts?
all right, all those podcasts you can find me on YouTube specifically, but also Spotify. If you do a search for just Rebecca Wells Phillips, that's Wells Phillips, I should pop up. Also, I have my own YouTube channel. If you want to buy my books, you can go to Amazon, Barnes and Noble. They both have them. I also have a website called RebeccaWellsPhillips.com. I don't sell the books on there anymore. Long story with that, but you can at least see things about me, and there are some videos posted there.
You okay? So why did you start a YouTube, dear?
Oh, I started that like first, but it was just too much. So then I kind of like laid it off to the side and focused on everything else like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, all that. But it's still there, and I've uploaded videos, and I used to do daily lives. where I would talk to people every morning before I went into work. I work 12-hour shifts, so it's really hard to continue that. So you can go on there and see old videos of me. I've been doing it now for over a year. I really started focusing on the promoting, self-promoting, once I decided to do Hurricane Helene September of last year. So
Nice. I love the fact that you have that you put the YouTube together. That's a great way to promote yourself also.
it's a lot of work, though. It really is.
Yeah, it is. Oh my goodness. It's a ton of work, especially to get everything edited and out there. I don't have that problem because I don't edit, and so yeah, I
I
am
don't edit either.
mistakes.
I do not edit. I refuse to edit. I do not have time to edit.
I mean, who does? Anyway, before I get into a conversation about the quality of my own darn videos and podcasts, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up for me over here. I'm Winona Marie, and you can on one half of the And I Thought Ladies. You can find everything that Layer Ladies are up to at www.andithoughladies.com. Although recently we've been kind of doing the Instagram right now, so what? But I feel like really proud that I'm remembering to do Instagram. But remember, when you go to our page, you can go down to the bottom of our page and see the charities that we proudly support. We ask that you take a moment, check them out, maybe support them too. Not necessarily monetary. You know, sometimes people have knowledge that they can share that's helpful to the charity. Or sometimes you can just get your hands dirty and actually, go build an orphanage in Ethiopia if you want to. But either way, we thank you in advance for your assistance in that. And remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona and the Missing Jade. Oh, yeah. Thanks for listening.